All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. DeMarcus Cousins has just signed with the Milwaukee Bucks. I had a feeling DeMarcus Cousins was going to sign with an NBA team here in the near future. I don't know why. I was anticipating a team in the West. I was not anticipating the Milwaukee Bucks. It's really cool to see. I love DeMarcus Cousins. He was just devastated by injuries, man. And unfortunately at, 30, what is he? What's he, 33 now? No, he's 31 years old. At 31 years old, he's not going to be able to produce much for you. But hey, the Milwaukee Bucks, they're 12-8 on the season after just pretty much being like, not half their team, but like a huge chunk of their roster was injured for the first part of the season. They're finally a little bit more healthy now, and they are 8-2 in their last 10 games, 12-8. They're sitting pretty. I think a lot of the Eastern Conference teams, when like the Heat got off to a red hot start, the Bulls got off to a red hot start. A lot of teams are always remembering about the Brooklyn Nets with KD and Harden. I think the really slow start to the Milwaukee Bucks just kind of had a good chunk of like NBA fans just forget about this team. So Milwaukee, they lost some really critical pieces. Like they really lost some critical pieces this last year, but the hope is that they're just continuing to get better. Their current roster, their big chunk of guys like Giannis, Chris, Drew, the hope is that these guys are just continuing to get better. And Giannis, I mean, he's looking as good as he's ever looked. I mean, he has a jump shot. He can shoot the 3-ball now. He looks comfortable. He looks confident. The Milwaukee Bucks, I would not sleep on them. But let's talk about DeMarcus Cousins' impact on this Bucks team. If you guys are enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. We're 25 subscribers away from 9,000, trying to hit it by the end of the month. And I don't even know if I think there's only 30 days in November. So we only have we have like 1.5 days here to hit 9,000 subs. So if you guys are new here and not subscribed already, be sure to hit that. DeMarcus, let's take a look at last year's stats. Now, if you look at DeMarcus on his career, I mean, this is a 20-10 player. DeMarcus was literally one of the most, like when I first started getting into basketball, he was one of the more intriguing young players out of Kentucky. And when he finally goes pro, and when he was really hitting his stride in Sacramento, where he was averaging, I mean, 27 points per game, 28 points per game, and 11 rebounds. And he has that attitude. We all know Boogie. Like, he has an attitude that never quit, nothing easy. He's going to get up into people's faces. He's going to trash talk. He's going to do what he has to do to win games, and he's going to have a fun time doing it. It's a scary guy at points. Like, in his prime, I would say Boogie was a little scary, but he was on Sacramento. So that's why I guess he really was never scary, because Sacramento sucked. I mean, they still kind of do. I hate to say it because I'm rooting for the Kings, but let's be real here. So if you guys have been subscribed to me for a while, I'm a huge Houston Rocket fan. And the last year DeMarcus Cousins experiment, it did not go well. 9 points per game, 7.5 rebounds. That doesn't look too bad, but he shot, oh my goodness gracious, he shot 37% from the field, and that was not going to get the job done. Now, he ends up going to the Los Angeles Clippers. He plays about 16 games for them. He was important in games where they kind of needed him, but, I mean, he never started, and that was few and far between. Only got 13 minutes per game, but he definitely got a lot more efficient. 7.8 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, about an assist, about a steal per game. But he was shooting about 54% and then 42% from downtown. And downtown in Houston, he was shooting about 33, 36. Just horrible, not efficient, nothing really good there. So what's his impact going to be on Milwaukee? I really like this. Milwaukee seems to be struggling with their bench. I don't know if that's mainly because they just are so injured, or they've been so injured that so many guys are just kind of forced to like spot start, or is their bench just weaker? I think it's a combination of both. I don't think that they really have like that weak of a bench, and I'm not nervous about their bench, but I do think that it needed, and it still might need, another little bit of a jolt. It is a little bit on the older side to get guys like George Hill, but hey, these are championship-proven veteran guys, just like DeMarcus Cousins. At 31 years old, he's not too old, but with all the injuries he's suffered in his career, he is definitely just like a kind of a shell of his former self. He's pretty slow. He doesn't really play any defense at all. He does not jump almost whatsoever. Hopefully for Milwaukee, and even just like I'm hoping too, because I'm a DeMarcus Cousins fan, I'm going to root for him. Hopefully like he was, I don't want to say injured last season, but he was coming off an ACL injury. He's coming off an ACL injury, and that certainly doesn't help. So my hope and my thinking is that defensively, I still don't think you're going to really get much. I'm sure he's not going to be like, he's probably not going to be athletic at all, but my thinking is he is going to be extremely efficient and maybe even a little bit of a better passer. But my hope is that he spent all offseason or most of the offseason working on his three-point shot, working on the mid-range, working on his passing, trying to get your conditioning up. When he was in Houston last year, the first couple of games, we were all thinking like, oh, his conditioning is just, it's just bad because he's coming off the ACL injury, but he just never really has been able to get back to what he was, like kind of in, like before Golden State, kind of like how he was in New Orleans Pelicans in 2018, which was 3 years ago. It wasn't too long, but it also is long enough to the point where you need to keep your expectations in check for sure. So DeMarcus Cousins going to the Milwaukee Bucks to the Eastern Conference, I don't complain. I can't wait to watch him play on the Milwaukee Bucks, and he definitely wants a ring, and honestly, he's deserving of a ring. And if he's going to help contribute, man, I root nothing but the best for him. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Drop your comments on how you think DeMarcus Cousins is going to be for the Bucks team, and I'll see you guys later tonight.